Smith, and I'm going to tell you a hilarious game called Oodles of Noodles. Now, you might have seen this before, but I like to say mine is Oodles of Noodles with a twist because I have a cool way to incorporate math skills into my noodle activity. So all you're going to need is different sizes of noodles. Okay, I've got a medium size here that we use these for a lot of our tagging games. I've got the small ones that I use for drum fit. I use about 25 of these in this game. I use about 20 of these. And then I have the long noodles here that I have 2 boxes of 36. So it's, for my twist, you're gonna want different sizes of noodles, but you don't have to have different sizes of noodles to play the game. So very simple. I've got relay line, I've got cones set up on the other side of the gym, and then on this end, we have all the noodles spread out all over the floor. So the first person in line comes down, they're gonna grab just one noodle and they take it back to their team. Now, you can have them have a speed limit of speed walking, jogging, that sort of thing. I do know that when they have a whole bunch of noodles, it's really hard for them to run and it gets a little unsafe, especially when they have a lot of the long noodles. So you might change that throughout the class on the speed limit. Start off jogging, pretty easy with the noodle, but when they have about 20 of them, it makes it really hard and just don't wanna have an accident. So anyhow, they're gonna grab one noodle on their first trip down. When they get back to their cone, they're gonna hand this noodle, and the next person in line is gonna take this noodle and go down and grab another noodle. So now they've got 2 noodles. They go back to their team, hand it off to the next person. They take these 2 noodles, come down, grab another noodle. So now they've got 3, and they're just building their pile. Now, if they drop a noodle, maybe they're running and they drop a noodle, or when it most happens, most often, is when they're handing the pile off to the next person in line, they might drop a noodle. Well, if they drop it, it's gone. We tell them just keep moving, don't try to pick it up, it is dead. We will have teachers then that will come by, pick it up and throw it back into our big pile so that we have, we're utilizing all the noodles. But that's just a little tip there. Now, when I do relays, I don't do for time and have students sit when they get to a certain amount of, or if everybody's had a turn, we just go for time. So you get as many turns as you can as long as you're staying in order. So on the Oodles of Noodles game, when it's time is up or we're out of noodles, then I will say freeze. So if I have the noodles, let's say for example, I have a bunch of noodles, okay? And I'm coming back and coach says freeze. I stop where I am. Now, I try to then be intentional about where the people are that have the noodles because I don't want them all by their cone because then there's too many noodles and too many different teams because I have a lot of different teams. I have like 18 different teams in my class. So I may have some that are almost back to the line and I'm gonna tell them to sit where they are. I might have some that are closer to the pile and I'm gonna have them sit. But basically just spread out the people that have the noodles. And then I say, okay, if you're sitting behind the cone and you were not going, you need to come out and join your teammate that has the noodles. Because the next thing I'm going to do is my twist. And it was so awesome to watch the kids work together because I have them put the noodles on the ground and then I have them line them up from tallest to shortest. So I mentioned that I have a lot of different, let's take these 3. I have the long one, and then I have the medium, and then I have the shortest. So they're gonna line these up on the floor. I've shown you an example here, but then I'm gonna show a Google slide on the screen and it has the different point values. The shortest noodles are gonna be worth 1 point, the mediums are gonna be worth 5, and the longest are worth 10. And so I flash that on the screen, I will link it below. I then say, okay, now you're gonna add up your total. And so they add up using their math. You might have first asked them, okay, how many noodles do you have total? And so they have 20 or 22, whatever. And then you say, okay, now let's add just the long noodles and they're each worth 10. So it's really cool to listen to those younger kids skip counting with their 10, 20, 30, 40, and them adding those numbers up. And then you could do the mediums and then just the smalls, or you can do all together where they're really having to add those numbers together. And it just is a really cool twist to the Oodles of Noodles. But this game is going to bring you lots of laughs, lots of great pictures because kids have all these noodles and they're smiling. It is hilarious. So once you give it a try, have a great day.